The absolute best thing you could do for your baby's health is go on a microbiome shifting diet before conception. I'm not just speaking to the women here, I'm also speaking to the men. They both play an important part in seeding this baby's microbiome. In today's video, I'm going to share exactly why you should heal your gut before getting pregnant, what you can do practically right now if you have a timeline in your head, maybe a year or 2 years out, and you really want to set your baby up for the best health and immune system possible. And I'm also going to share what to do if you didn't do that and you or your child are experiencing some symptoms that you would like to get to the root of. Hi, my name is Selena from Wholeness Campaign. I've recovered from IBS, parasitic infection, Lyme disease, asthma, allergies, histamine intolerance, and a host of chronic symptoms associated with multiple severe concussions, all using food as medicine, and it's my passion to help others do the same. Now, I am around 17 or 18 weeks pregnant with baby number 2 at the time of this recording, and so it's been quite a while since I went on this very intense journey of healing my gut and getting to the root cause of my chronic symptoms. But nonetheless, I take it seriously when it comes time for conceiving a child, because I know that what I can do in the months leading up to pregnancy and during pregnancy can set this child up for major success or a tougher start to life. And I'm just going to be honest with you, like chronic symptoms that haven't been resolved can make life tougher in the beginning, okay? Nobody is shaming anybody. It's nobody's fault. But if you're ready to take responsibility with me, I want to take you through first a few ways that I really think that this happens. The idea of the microbiome is kind of getting more popularized nowadays, but we know that microbiomes get passed down from generation to generation. This happens in a number of different ways. Like I said, even the man does play a role in it. So even just the microbiome of semen or sperm can actually dictate the health of the child. But there's several other areas where the microbiome gets passed down. I want to list them out here. First is obviously, many of us know, through the vaginal canal. Ideally, the baby's coming through the vaginal canal. This would be the reason why we wouldn't want to have a C-section, ideally, in an ideal world, right? The vaginal canal is actually going to seed your baby's microbiome. So you're basically going to be getting what's known as the birth microbes. And it's essentially the baby's skin getting lathered in this vernix layer. If you've ever seen that really cheesy looking white stuff on babies that are just born, they're essentially covered in this microbiome layer. It's actually an immune protective layer. We shouldn't take it off of babies. We shouldn't wash babies right away. We want to actually rub that in because that has a host of different beneficial, some of them may be pathogenic, but it carries the baby's microbiome. They're going to absorb it from their skin and it's going to seed their gut. So vernix is not the only thing that does this. The amniotic sac actually has a microbiome. That's typically mostly gotten from the mother. So the baby is kind of swimming 9 months in an amniotic sac that has microbes in it. They're also going to get their microbiome from their early exposures. So there's some research that farm-raised kids actually end up with a more robust immune system. Kids that are raised in the city, it's because they are exposed to so many different beneficial microbes being in a farm. They're not sterile in their environment. But even things like touching and kissing, sharing food, and physical contact all are going to seed this baby's microbiome. So I actually am never scared of people kissing my baby as long as they have healthy microbiomes ideally. But you want to be kissing your baby lots and lots because you're going to be seeding their microbiome with even just your saliva. And then there is obviously breast milk. Breast milk is a major component of seeding your baby's microbiome. They're going to be getting lots and lots of beneficial microbes through your breast milk. This is generally speaking the biggest difference between formula and breast milk is that one is alive and has lots of microbes in it and one just doesn't. And nothing against formula in certain cases if we need it, and that's just the fact, okay? So your microbiome and your toxic load both get passed down. This is actually going to influence one's susceptibility to disease in the future. If you have a robust, diverse microbiome that has lots of good beneficial bacteria, you haven't had lots of antibiotics in your lifetime or your mom or your grandparents' lifetime, they have had very minimal, if not any, antibiotic use, you're going to see much more robust immune systems. In contrast, when we see people who are often living in our modern society, me and you included, right, with high toxic loads and really imbalanced microbiomes, you see these immune systems be a lot more fragile, a lot more prone to chronic illness and disease because this is where it all starts, you guys. There's a genetic component, obviously, but I actually think the microbiome is the biggest piece that we pass down to our children that dictates how our genes will express themselves. This is how powerful the microbiome is when we talk about epigenetics. Our microbes actually have the ability to switch on and off genes. That's part of their function. So you might have a genetic propensity to something and your environment, the ecosystem that you were born and birthed into, makes you even more prone to picking up a disease that maybe you were already genetically predisposed to, or you pick up a disease that maybe you weren't predisposed to, because a truly degraded microbiome can do that. I believe over 70% of the immune system resides in the gut. So we actually have a lot of power over influencing our immune system by what we eat and take in. And I'm going to get into that, how you can actually build up your body so that you can pass on a microbiome that is beneficial and hopefully gives your baby the strongest immune system possible. But immunocompromised babies do not just come out of nowhere. They come from generations of toxicity and microbiome imbalance getting passed down. And unfortunately, we're in a day and age where the babies that are being born are very, very sick. They are not being born the way they were even in the 90s. They are very, very sick nowadays, statistically speaking. Many children are being born with allergies, eczema, rashes, and we know that these are the precursors. They might seem mild right now, but they really are telling us something about the state of the internal immune system, which again leads to other things down the road if we don't work on reversing it, which we'll talk about that too. So there are very practical things you can do even before getting pregnant that can shift the microbiome so you're passing on the best microbes as possible. The first is going to be that you prioritize fermented foods. Kefir in particular. I mean, kefir so much that I would even be putting kefir in the vaginal canal during your pregnancy, or particularly during that third trimester, to help shift the microbiome of the vaginal canal to be more positive and more beneficial, so that the place where the baby is going through is going to be full of beneficial bacteria and yeast, as opposed to potentially an imbalance that it's inheriting from you. Fermented foods like kefir, yogurt, sauerkraut, pickles, sour cream, kimchi, these are all going to contain living microbes that help you to produce enzymes, that help you to digest your food. These microbes dictate the strength of your immune system. These microbes will actually have the power to make you more or less sensitive to certain diseases. These microbes support the gut lining integrity, so leaky gut, it can make it actually harder to get leaky gut if you have a really good, strong probiotic layer in that mucosal lining. And we know that leaky gut is the precursor to autoimmunity, so if we're gaining a really strong microbiome, then we're going to be setting ourselves up for less immune dysfunction. That is number one. If you are currently pregnant, I'm not necessarily recommending that you jump into taking large amounts of probiotics. The die-off response that can come from this is actually arguably something that can cause as extreme of reactions as miscarriage. So I am not telling you to jump full on into drinking tons and tons of kefir if you've never had any while you're pregnant. Ideally, this is before you're pregnant, and you want to build up your body's tolerance to these ferments so that when you are pregnant, you're passing on all of those good microbes. But this is before pregnancy, not during it. If you are currently pregnant, that's a different story. We would just want to go much, much slower. We would want to drip drop tiny amounts of ferments, and ideally things that you tend to tolerate. So if you struggle with dairy, we would start with other things. This would be more on a case-by-case basis, but I like to start with something like a sauerkraut brine. This is where I start all of my clients on, but we're really going for diversity here. So we want to get as diverse as possible of different microbes. Number two is that you're going to be drinking meat stock regularly. Now, you guys know if you've watched my videos that I believe that meat stock has this really powerful ability to heal and seal leaky gut. Leaky gut is basically where the intestines are permeable, where there's holes or gaps in the epithelial cells, and that is, like I said, the precursor to autoimmunity, as well as several other common dysfunctions in the body. You'll see leaky gut be really at the center of most gut dysfunction. It is far easier to get leaky gut in our society today, where there's toxins that are damaging the gut lining, where our cells don't tend to have as much nourishment as they should, and we've got pathogens that are so overgrown and that are literally growing tentacles through your digestive tract and breaking apart that gut lining. So I think anybody could benefit from meat stock. We want to make that gut lining stronger. We want to make it more resilient against pathogens. And we want to give those good microbes a good place to live, and that mucin layer, that mucus layer that basically lines the entire digestive tract, should be full of beneficial microbes. That actually comes first from a healthy gut barrier, those healthy epithelial cells. If those are unhealthy or they're broken apart, that's actually an indicator that our mucus layer is also being damaged. So in order to have that, we want to start with that baseline of gelatinous meat stock. We want to make the meat stock so it gels. If you want to learn how to make that, I have a $17 meat stock mini course that teaches you step by step how to make it. I think one of the best recipes that are out there that I think tastes like Lipton soup, but it's really delicious, and it's a great way to support your gut and your immune system so that you can pass that on to your baby. Third is that you want to nourish your body. So nourish the crap out of your body. We want your body, especially for the woman, but also as the man, to be in nutritional surplus. We don't want to be going into pregnancy already in nutritional deficiencies. And so look up what the actual RDAs are of these, because oftentimes they're so much higher than we think. Sometimes they are far lower than our bodies need, and that's a different story. But make sure you're actually getting that through your diet. Lots of B vitamins, lots of beef liver, nutrient-dense proteins, animal fats, egg yolks, all the minerals. We want to get lots and lots of minerals. We need mineral surplus for pregnancy, okay, you guys? So that we're feeling our best in pregnancy and we're able to pass on that nutrition as well. But certain microbes in your gut actually feed off of the nutrients that will be given in a very nutrient-dense diet. So in order to keep alive the beneficial bacteria that are already there and to keep that microbiome stabilized, we need to be giving nutrient-dense foods. We need to be giving good amounts of polyphenols. We need glyconutrients that are going to be supportive of, again, feeding those good microbes. So getting your body in a place of nutritional surplus. That's number 3. Number 4, and this is before pregnancy, not during pregnancy, but you want to detox the body. When you detox the body, you basically enable pathogens to die off naturally. You're essentially removing the food source for those pathogens so that they don't have a reason to be there anymore. Pathogens often act as this cleanup crew to the body. And so if you're not getting vast amounts of pathogens in your diet, very likely you have some from past experiences and they only hang around if the body's toxic. So we need to decrease that toxic burden. That means lots of liver support. So making sure that your liver is decongested, your gallbladder is functioning well. Do all the different lymphatic support. You can do saunas, anything that can help eliminate toxins from the body is going to be, again, giving the baby not just a lesser toxic load, but you're also going to be giving them a better microbiome because, like I said, these pathogens, they feed off of these toxins. And so the process of rebalancing the microbiome is really inseparable from the detox process. Number 5 is that you're going to put kefir everywhere. As I mentioned, you're going to put it up into the vaginal canal, but you're also just going to put it on your skin. So your skin, as I said, if you're touching and in contact with the baby, that is also going to be what's transferred to their microbiome. So if you've got imbalanced skin microbes, you'd want to get that under control. And one way to do this, practically speaking, is going to be to literally layer your skin with raw milk, yogurt, or kefir. And I know that I'm just going to sound absolutely crazy, but you've never heard these ideas on the internet because most people have compromised skin microbiomes. So I'm telling you, taking the extra yogurt or kefir that you have laying around, grabbing some store-bought kefir if you're just new to this process, putting a little quarter cup of it in the bath when you go to take a bath, or like I said, lathering it like lotion on your skin. There are some probably really fancy probiotic skin lotions that you can get, but you guys, just as simple as that, a little bit of yogurt or kefir through your body, and especially for women, we're going to want to use that on the vaginal canal as well for preparing for birth. And 6 is going to be that you're going to heal your chronic conditions first. Ideally, listen, I'm not trying to tell anybody not to have babies because I think they're always worth having. But if you can heal your chronic conditions first, which I believe is a really big indicator of the state of your body's microbiome, so taking the deep dive, going and actually addressing the root cause of your symptoms with a gut first approach, you are going to be setting your baby up for a lifetime of success in their health. And I'm not trying to scare anybody in this, but it really makes a difference, even just 1 to 2 years of the mother and father being committed to rebalancing their internal ecosystem and overcoming their own chronic symptoms first. You are essentially passing on a microbiome that is so much more resilient towards illness. And I think that time is so worth it in a world where babies are being born with chronic conditions that are totally out of their control and that end up being very big challenges for parents. So again, obviously, no shame on anybody. Have your babies. And I'm going to explain to you how to support children who have a compromised microbiome. But the easiest way to do this would be to deal with the problem before it becomes a problem. If you're curious about how to go about doing this, this is exactly what I walk my clients step by step through in my Whole Health Blueprint coaching program. I'm one of those crazy quack people that believes that you can actually resolve your chronic symptoms naturally with food, detox, and nervous system regulation. So whether it's autoimmunity, chronic gut issues, MCAS, POTS, PCOS, Hashimoto's, I actually think all of these can be reversed. I have seen all of them be reversed. I live for these testimonies, you guys, of people reversing their chronic illness with food as medicine. So this is what I take people through in my root cause framework. The Whole Health Blueprint coaching program is a 6-month-long coaching program that takes you through the gut healing phase, the detox phase, and the nervous system regulation phase, because I think they're all the most important areas of healing. Because I think these are all 3 the root causes to every single chronic disease that is out there. Again, controversial, I know, but inside the Whole Health Blueprint, you will get one-to-one sessions, group coaching sessions, and an entire 6-module course that takes you step by step in healing and getting to the root cause of your symptoms This goes for even the most complex cases, you guys. I really believe that when you heal the root cause, you can conquer chronic symptoms completely naturally. You do not need big pharma, and this is my passion. I want to walk people step by step through this process. So if you're interested, I will leave the link to apply for this program below this video so that you can go ahead and do that. We would love to have you. We've got a really amazing group of people who are fighting for their health, and I would love you to be a part of it. Okay, now what do you do if you already have a baby and you are currently experiencing symptoms and your baby is experiencing symptoms? This can be anything from mild eczema to severe histamine intolerance, can't tolerate anything, even your breast milk type of stuff. Like, this is the range that I'm seeing with clients. Well, this is where the gut rebalancing protocol really does help, and you don't have to be full on into the GAPS diet. If you've been here a while, you know I talk a lot about that protocol because it is the one I use to heal myself, and it is very, very powerful. It's the one that I pull the most information from in my program. But there are core tenets of the GAPS diet that you can implement in your routine this week that are very simple. They're just add-ons to your current diet and routine that can help be very supportive of rebalancing the microbiome. And some people, these things in and of themselves are enough to conquer those symptoms. So one by one, we're going to just go through. First, you want to introduce that meat stock. Like I said before, if you're breastfeeding, you want to go very slow on this introduction because it can kill off pathogens, and we want to go very, very slow. We don't want too many toxins coming through the breast milk. So literally like a teaspoon more every single week. It's going to be very, very slow for you. Baby might be able to tolerate more of it and give them what they want. But for breastfeeding moms, we go very slow. Number 2 is that we're going to introduce sauerkraut. So people have issues with dairy. There are a million ways we can work through that. I teach people how to do that in one-to-ones. But a really easy probiotic that I start people on is sauerkraut because it's going to give you beneficial microbes and enzymes that are going to help you to start digesting food properly and really start that rebalancing work. You're also going to want to limit starchy vegetables. So things like plantain, things like potatoes, sweet potatoes, you want to really limit those. And if you're eating tons and tons of them right now, and especially if you're breastfeeding, you want to wean off of them slowly. Even if you weren't, I would say that just always wean off of things. We don't want to go 0 to 100. These can be very helpful in feeding beneficial microbes once the ecosystem is rebalanced. But before that, they tend to feed pathogenic overgrowth, so we'd want to kind of pull that back for a time. You can also do very gentle detox. I differentiate in my program between gentle and strong detox. There's obviously further you could go, but starting with things just as gentle as baths, lymphatic support, and water enemas, which I will link my video on how to do a water enema right below this video and above, but it is really one of the most powerful tools in supporting your detox pathways. And it's a very gentle way to start detoxing the body that isn't going to instigate too much toxin removal. So it's really good for breastfeeding if you're breastfeeding, or if your baby is really young, I think it can be really supportive. Or like I said, if you're just getting started, this is where I would start, is those gentle detox support. And then we really want to build eventually and challenge the microbiome. And this is what I teach in my gut health intensive. We really want to challenge the microbiome with different ferments. And so we're diversifying it just like you would with soil. You want a diverse ecosystem in your gut. And this is a slow process. We slowly wean in all these different fermented foods, but it is a really necessary process if we're going to see shifts in the microbiome and shifts in your health. Okay, so if you got any value out of this video, like the video and subscribe to my channel. If you're interested in further support working with me, I have a couple different options right now. I've got my 6-month program, and actually this month I have a couple openings left for my gut health intensive, which is my 6-week program. It is phase 1 of my whole health blueprint coaching program, kind of sped up a bit. And so I give you as much information as possible with 3 one-to-one coaching sessions. The blueprint is obviously going to be much more in-depth and long-term, and I actually promise to work with you beyond the 6 months if needed as a part of the program. But both of those links will be below this video. And if you're interested in a drink that can encapsulate a lot of the different things that I just mentioned in both areas, whether the baby is born or you're preparing your body for pregnancy, I made a video on exactly what would be inside of that mug to really start that gut healing process. This is the mug that Dr. Natasha recommends that everybody start out with when they're healing their gut. So go ahead and check out this video to learn more about that. Okay, I will see you guys in the next one.